fantastic book by Senator Cruz, Unwoke, How to Defeat Cultural Marxism in America. And what you do in this book, number one, is you identify it. Because most people don't even want to do that. Then you give the background of it. Then you explain how it presents itself today and then what to do about it. So I want to hit you on this. We've been talking about citizens. No more important citizen to a parent is their child.
Yep.
There's a war on children, and there's a war on separating parents from children. That's real Marxism. It's going on in our classrooms, and you're right about this. What's your take?
Well, listen, Marxists always start with the kids. And so I opened the book by telling the story of my father. You know my dad. My father was born in Cuba. He grew up in Cuba. And he fought in the Cuban Revolution. He actually fought alongside Fidel Castro. And he was a 14-year-old boy fighting in the revolution. My dad today refers to the revolution. He said that's what we all were. We were a bunch of 14 and 15-year-old boys who didn't know any better, who were young and passionate and idealistic. And my father ended up being imprisoned, being tortured, and he fled Cuba, and he came to America. And, you know, one of the stories I tell right at the outset is about my grandmother. My grandmother, my abuela, was a sixth grade teacher, and she loved teaching sixth grade. And the communists always start with little children, and my grandmother told me how Castro's soldiers would come into the kindergartens and the first grades. And they would tell all the children there, they'd say, close your eyes, pray to God, and ask for candy. And the kids would do that, and they'd open their eyes, and there'd be no candy. And then they'd say, close your eyes, and pray to Fidel Castro for candy. And the soldiers would quietly put a piece of candy on every child's desk. Marxists understand that if you destroy every other allegiance, destroy an allegiance to God, destroy an allegiance to family, destroy any allegiance other than to the state, that's how they get power. And the reason the cultural Marxists go after our kids, teaching CRT to our kids, teaching them that America is inherently racist, teaching this transgender radical ideology, you know, using Orwellian terms like gender-affirming care, by which they mean sterilizing and genitally mutilating a child. It is aiming at our kids, and this book explains how that happened, but then critically, what this book is about, what Unwoke is about, is how we fight back and win. And it focuses on what has happened, and it starts in Loudoun County in Virginia, where Loudoun County, you had a little girl who was sexually assaulted by a boy wearing a skirt in a girl's restroom. And the school covered it up because their ideology, they said, this cannot happen. They arrested the father of the girl. The sexual predator they transferred to another school, and that boy in a skirt sexually assaulted another little girl. But that sparked a moment where moms in Virginia got pissed off. And it resulted in 2020, Virginia voted for Joe Biden by 10 points. In 2021, 1 year later, Glenn Youngkin, a Republican, was elected. A good friend of mine, I campaigned with Glenn all over Virginia because the moms were fed up. What is this garbage you're doing to our kids? And you look at school boards all across the country. I get involved in a lot of school board races where parents are saying enough is enough. We want to take the radicals out of our schools. That's an example of the kind of victories that are working over and over and over again. And the answer to fight back on every one of these institutions is to take them back, to get in and throw the lunatics out.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.